This video is sponsored by McDonald's. Use our discount code for 10% off your order. Link will be down below. And without further ado, let's get into this podcast. Hello everyone, welcome to my podcast. Today I will be discussing the book Great Gatsby. If you have never heard or read the book, it takes place in the Roaring '20s when jazz was becoming popular. Women were dressing more openly and liked men only for their money. In the book, some of the main characters are Gatsby, Daisy, Nick, Tom, Myrtle, and Jordan. The main question we'll be discussing in today's podcast is, what motivated Gatsby to change? In my opinion, Gatsby had two things that motivated him to change: money and Daisy. Money influenced Gatsby to change because he was a poor farmer who lived in the slums. Around the time of the book, being rich was everyone's dream. Being rich allowed you to fit in and attract all the women. Gatsby felt that he needed wealth to win over the girl of his dreams. Daisy also played a factor because she was the perfect girl in his eyes. She was pretty, smart, and rich. She would complete Gatsby's American dream. We have a special guest today. Say hello, Jacob.
Much appreciated, and thank you for having me.
Alright, so today we are going to be talking about the book Great Gatsby.
I love reading the book as it has a historical background on the 1920s. The book is one of my all-time favorites because it symbolizes an important decade in U.S. history.
So, Jacob, the question we are talking about today is what motivated Gatsby to change. What are your thoughts on this?
Money changed Gatsby because it gave Gatsby a chance with Daisy. So I would say money is a key factor because Daisy wanted to date a wealthy man, which is why she gave Gatsby another chance.
In the book, Gatsby lies to Daisy about his background. Do you think that this action was the correct thing to do?
For Gatsby's point of view, I believe it was a fantastic choice because his goal was to get Daisy's attention, and his plan was to lie about how he got rich because Gatsby was getting rich off illegal activities such as bootlegging. If Daisy found out how Gatsby got his money, then it was possible the relationship between Gatsby and Daisy to end. This is why I believe it was beneficial for Gatsby to lie.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I disagree with him lying about his background. I disagree because he's lying to the love of his life. Daisy isn't falling in love with Gatsby, she's falling in love with the man he claims to be. As we know, him lying actually came to bite him. Daisy found out Gatsby's secret and lost interest in him.
I see what you're saying, and I respect your opinion, but I'm still gonna have to disagree.
Alright, let's move on. Earlier you said Daisy motivated him to change. Was his change worth it, yes or no?
Yes, change, but a new face, a new idea, the new person in Gatsby. Gatsby was an undercover man to a face all over the newspaper. However, change allowed Gatsby to connect to Daisy better. Without change, Gatsby would have been a boring man who probably would have led to Daisy losing interest.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I just think that the way he got his money wasn't the right way to earn his money, and that he should have found a better way. Around the time of this book, there was something called the American Dream. Do you think that the American Dream played a role in Gatsby's change?
Oh, good question. Gatsby was the American dream. He was looked up to many. The American dream would be being so rich that you can support many generations to come. That being said, to answer your question, yes, because Gatsby filled the qualifications of having the American dream.
Yeah, actually, when you think back to the novel, Gatsby almost had the American Dream. He was rich, he had a nice house, nice cars. The only thing that he was missing was a perfect girlfriend. So the next question is, Gatsby could have any girl he wanted. Why does he continue to want Daisy? Well, in my opinion, he falls in love with her because they are young and she is beautiful. But his love increases as he builds the idea of her in his mind, that her beauty is inherently connected to her wealthy status. What is your opinion on this?
Daisy loved Gatsby when he had nothing, so when he went on to the war, she decided to move on. So I feel like he loves her because she loved him from the start.
In the book, Gatsby seems so to himself. Why did he seem so undercover?
Well, Gatsby tried to stay undercover due to the fact he didn't want people to find out the ways of him making money. Gatsby is a very shy man in the inside, but seems like a king on the outside. I don't blame Gatsby for hiding because I think it was in his best interest.
Yeah, I agree. Why do you think Daisy wanted to leave Tom so bad?
Daisy wanted to leave Tom so bad because Daisy really never loved him. Tom had money, which is the main reason why Daisy connected with Tom, But Gatsby, on the other hand, was poor when he was younger. However, Daisy still loved him even so.
In the book Great Gatsby, there's a green light that is symbolic. What do you think it symbolizes?
The green light can mean different things, for example, money, success, etc. However, in my opinion, I believe the green light symbolizes his dreams because Gatsby would always stare at the light at the end of Daisy's dock and dreams to reunite with her. He would also always reach his hands, towards it, symbolizing that his dreams are just out of reach.
Yeah, and towards the end of the book, when Gatsby saw the green light again, he didn't even try reaching out because he knew that Tom ruined his chances with Daisy. Alright, so one of our last questions of this podcast is, was it right for Tom to let Daisy leave with Gatsby? What do you think of this, Jacob?
Yeah, I find it weird how Tom was going to let Gatsby take Daisy. I would say, in my opinion, Tom was wrong because it just shows Tom doesn't care what happens to Daisy and would just use her as a trophy, if you will.
Okay, well, that's a wrap for today's podcast. I would like to thank Jacob for being a part of this podcast and making everything possible.
Likewise, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
So, we have reached the end of today's podcast talking about Great Gatsby. Tune in next time when we discuss Harry Potter and the Chambers of Secrets.